predicting song popularity by Group 60. Now let's look at the background.
For our project, we identified a dataset called Top Spotify Songs from 2010 to 2019 sorted by year. This includes information on the top 600 free songs from that time frame. It has several variables about the songs rated automatically by Spotify and is based on Billboard rankings and accessible on Kaggle. The variables included in this dataset range from song popularity to genre, BPM, loudness, duration, valence, speechness, energy, danceability, and other predictor variables. Some of the research questions we wanted to answer for our project were, how accurately does our model predict popularity? What effect does genre have in predicting the popularity of a song? How significant is the duration as a predictor variable? And when building the model and taking into account all the predictor variables, does the significance or relevance of each predictor variable change materially? There have been several attempts by others to develop a model predicting popularity from song characteristics. The similarities of these other works are that they had the same response variable, being song popularity, and some of the differences between other works and our works is that we're using a different data set, we're using different variables, and we're using a different method of analysis.
Now we're ready to go into our methodology of our final model arrival. For our final model, we decided to use the categorical variable genre and both quantitative variables loudness and duration. During our exploratory data analysis, they were identified as statistically and practically significant variables when modeled against popularity. However, upon building our model, this changed. In the data cleaning process, we removed outliers and then split the data into a test and training set. Roughly 70% of the data was randomly selected for the training set, and the remaining 30% of the data was for the test set. After cleaning and splitting the data, we built our model and ran it using the training set. After running multiple simulations of the model and running the summary and ANOVA commands, we saw that the R-squared ranged from 0.14 to 0.37, with loudness and duration becoming statistically insignificant. In an attempt to build a better model, we utilized the reg subsets command to view the adjusted R-squared plots and determine if there was a better combination of predictor variables. However, the adjusted R-squared given by the code was extremely low. We concluded that our manually built model was better than the automatic methods provided by R. Checking all 4 regression assumptions, we found that the linearity assumption has been met because the relationship between x and the mean of y is linear. This was confirmed with the residual plot. Independence has been met because no cases or variables are dependent or rely on each other. Normality was met by referencing the normality plot. Homeostasity was not perfect, so we attempted to improve it. We squared the response variable and the residual plot did improve. Additionally, the R-squared increased by approximately 10%. We determined it to have enough equal spread to continue. Following this, we decided to try transforming our initial model to increase R-squared and fit the assumptions for linear regression. After numerous trials and errors, our model now better fit the assumptions for linear regression. Our final model is shown above. Now let's dive deep into the descriptive statistics.
All right, we use 3 predictor variables for our model, the first of which being decibels, which is what the dataset uses, also known as loudness, and we found that it had a median of negative 5.469 and a standard deviation of roughly 1.7. In our final model, it appeared to not be too particularly statistically significant because it had a high p-value. So the next predictor variable that we use in our model is duration, or the length of the song. We found that the mean song usually had about 228 seconds, and the standard deviation roughly went up or down by 35.25 seconds. And as you can see by the histogram, the highest peaks within the variable are roughly between 190 and 230 seconds, or roughly between 3 to 4 minutes. So the next predictor variable that we use in our model is genre. The genre of the song, which is clearly a categorical variable. The dataset that we use offered up about 90 different genres, so it's a very diverse set. But as you can see, there were clear, more prevalent genres such as dance pop and some other subsets of pop that you can see in the chart there. And so obviously a categorical variable will not have a mean or a standard deviation. But what we found is that genre is a very statistically significant predictor within our model. It had a very low p-value of just over 1,000th, and yeah, we calculated using the ANOVA function to get a general p-value as opposed to a p-value of each specific genre, since there were so many.
Now we will talk about the results. The final model from the method section was applied to the test set. The slide shows the plugin formula that was outputted. It's important to mention that the y-hat must be square rooted to arrive at the popularity value, as we transform the data by squaring the y response variable. Using the model, a song within the pop genre that has a decibel value of -7 and is 3 minutes and 30 seconds long is predicted to have a popularity value between 70 and 80. The R code used to find this prediction confidence interval is shown on the slide. Now we will interpret some values relating to the genre categorical variable. We can interpret all the genre coefficients from the output of the final model using the test set. For example, after allowing for the effects of decibels and duration, looking at a song within the dance pop genre, its popularity will be the square root of 562 lower than compared to a song within the acoustic pop genre. Using the confint function in R, we also outputted a confidence interval for all the genre coefficients. For example, after allowing for the effects of decibels and duration, we are 95% confident that the average effect of a song being in the dance pop genre compared to a song being in the acoustic pop genre on popularity is between the negative square root of 3639 and the square root of 2516. The statistically significant categorical variables included Alaska Indie, Canadian Latin, and hip hop. In a similar manner, we interpreted the same things for the decibel variable. After allowing for the effects of genre and duration, each additional decibel is associated with a square root of 221 decrease in song popularity. Furthermore, after allowing for the effects of genre and duration, we are 95% confident that the average effect of each additional decibel on popularity is between the negative square root of 404 and the negative square root of 37. The interpretation for the duration variable is also stated on the slide. Finally, there are a few other interpretations worth mentioning. For R-squared, 30% of the variation of popularity is explained by the genre, loudness, and duration. For residual standard error, 95% of the time, we expect the popularity prediction to be off by at most 56. And finally, for the overall p-value of the model, considering the very low p-value, we can reject the null hypothesis and conclude that this model provides a better fit than the intercept-only model.
In conclusion, we conclude that our model fails to accurately predict song popularity from genre, loudness, and duration. The predictor variables in the final model were statistically insignificant. We attempted to compare alternate predictor variables, use best subsets, and transform the model to try and correct this. However, we were unable to generate a model with an R-squared higher than 0.35, with a final model R-squared consistently falling within the range of 19% and 23% when utilizing retraining or test sets. Some of the dataset limitations were that it only contained the top Spotify songs from 2010 to 2019. Thus, it may have skewed our analysis in that the dataset only contained popular songs. Additionally, there may have been a potential bias from the time frame of only 2010 to 2019. Furthermore, the dataset could have reduced the number of genre categories from over 40 separate categories to a lesser amount. In following up our research, we suggest collecting a larger dataset, considering different predictor variables, using different model building methods such as best subsets or stepwise regression, and that future iterations of our project find a dataset not biased towards popular songs and spanning a greater time frame to reduce bias.
Feel free to email our group any questions or concerns you may have. We hope you enjoyed. Thank you.